He goes, no. They wanted for us to do something, then they said no at the very last moment. Even the week before. So that's why it took us so long to say where. Because the week before we had a perfect place, and they said no. Out of no reason. So I was asking why is this happening? Why there is so much conflict on going there? And usually I don't think that there is opposite forces. I don't think that there is like negative things don't willing for us to do something. So I thought maybe it's because it's not the right spot, it's not the right place to do it. So I am not paying attention correctly. And the whole story that brought us here is actually related to the future and what can happen in the past because of what we do in the future. So I said, maybe I'm looking wrong. I'm going to the past to try to find something. So what is the future? So we start doing something towards the future. So I started to look for the new plans of the CERN. What is the new Hadron Collider that they want to build? I don't know if you have seen the map of the new Hadron Collider that they want to do in the next 30 years. Well, this is the center.
Oh.
It's so big that it goes all around Saint-Julien and Geneviève. So between Saint-Julien and here is the center of the perimeter of the huge Hadron Collider that they will build in 30 years. Or that they are expecting to start in the next 3 years. So it's going to be actually functional in 2070, apparently. Which means that with a huge Hadron Collider, you can go even more deeper into the origin of the universe. So we were in Greece in that moment when I saw that circle, and we were going to Delphi, the Oracle of Delphi, to see the Pythonis. So I was looking into the Python all the time. And the Python means huge snake in Greek. And the Pythonis were the women that used the snake as a symbol of medicine. So when I was looking for the center of the Hadron Collider and I saw les pitons, les grands pitons, so it's like clearly it's here. So that's why we changed in a few days. We have to come here. And as you see, it's the perfect place to see the future.
Fog all around.
We have no idea.
If it's a
No
cliff,
clue what is going to happen. Just don't run towards the future. So
There's a cliff.
So clearly the idea of being here is not to heal the past, is to put a seed for the future. And I want to put everyone in the same picture, in the same page of this story, of why we are here. And why we do it in a very ancestral way. Bring drums to a hill in the mountains, to sit on rocks, when we are talking about the most modern science. So, to try to understand the concept, everything that I have been doing in my mission is try to repair a broken heart. And we all relate to that, because throughout history we all felt the heart broken. So what is the heart? The heart is the rhythm. Tum, 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 tum. We got it natural for us to think about the heart as something emotional, something that makes us feel love. But for nature, heart is the pulse, the rhythm. And you can go within it in every cell, and you have more pulses that are faster. And you go inside the atoms, and the pulses are even faster. Until you cannot even feel it. Electrons spinning around protons, or not even spinning, just boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So it's a constant beating system. And the fastest it goes, the closest it gets to nothing. It's a constant sound that is the vibration of everything. So everything is vibration. And everything has a rhythm. So all those rhythms are precise in the universe. The rhythm of hydrogen is the one that allows water to exist. So if you break hydrogen, you have no water anymore. You have a huge explosion that we call the sun. That's mainly hydrogen and helium. But the hydrogen that we have here is life, water. It's just hydrogen. So the hydrogen and the helium, when they mix and they combine, they explode like the sun. But when they are harmonized, they create water, life. It's the same thing. The only thing that happens is the heartbeat of hydrogen. So when the heartbeat of hydrogen breaks with helium, and the rhythm of the heart of hydrogen and the rhythm of the heart of helium, boom, collapse, it ignites with light and fire. Shiva, the destroyer, within everything. Sometimes we forget that we are not humans, we are not stone, we are not reality. We are just beatings of waves in the universe that are so precise that makes us perceive this reality. So we are an extension of that heartbeat. We are a constant extension of this perfect rhythm of existence. And when this rhythm changes a little bit, a new structure appears, a new chemical element, a new reality, a new awareness. So many different ways of life, of existence can appear. But since the very beginning, the main chemical elements, the main atoms of the universe were formed out of vibration. And all the forces together, creating the perfect blocks for us to perceive this reality. It's so difficult to break them that the only way you can actually break them is with so much energy and so much speed of the heart that it breaks the rhythm, meaning that it arrives to the speed of light. Light, we say, is the fastest thing in the universe, but actually it's not moving. Actually, we are going through light. Light is so much that we cannot even perceive what is actually it. So we are perceiving light because the structures of the universe have a different rhythm of light. If we all vibrate in the same rhythm of light, we see nothing. There's no existence. So different rhythms, like an orchestra, helps us to perceive. I can see you now because we are in different heartbeats. So when all the heartbeats of every chemical element are vibrating in a perfect harmony, we can appreciate life and existence. Now let's go back to the origin of everything. In the origin of everything, there was nothing. Not because nothing exists, but because everything was at the speed of light. So everything was void. Until something happened that only one force in the universe, we can call it however we want, one force was pushed to move into a different direction. And when something that is still does this, what happens? It starts to try to find the original position. Starts to vibrate in a rhythm.
Like a pendulum.
So if this is the only thing in the universe, it means that everything now is trying to find that rhythm, that pulse. So hydrogen, helium, lithium, and so on. And every particle starts to try to find the right position. So we can also say that all the creation was something that was meditating. And suddenly something moved it out. It happened to you sometimes? Huh? You are
He showed like a
and ding,
pendulum moving.
the phone or whatever happens, the cat. So you get out of it. And suddenly you forget this void that you were in. And you see this reality. And it takes 1 second or even less because it's the speed of light. So imagine the universe in a perfect meditation and suddenly you see everything. Suddenly everything appears. So what is this thing? If in the universe there is only one thing, and that thing is moved from within, there's something in the rhythm of the heart of that being that is meditating that starts to move in a different way. So to be able to do that, you have to go deeper and deeper in the structure of the universe. You have to break a particle, a proton, and go to the quarks and break them and go deeper and deeper until there's no particles, there's only waves, and then the waves you can find something, the vacuum inside of it. What happened in that vacuum? You can find the force of all the universe. The source of power of everything is not in the middle of a galaxy. It's within the core of the core of the core of an atom. Because in another dimension, every proton is only one. So you break one proton, and you are creating a wave in all the other protons. Of course, from our point of view now, we can try to explain this and say, no, that cannot happen. But it's been only 100 years that people started to understand quantum mechanics. But I will try to explain it with something more natural and something more relatable to us. Imagine that time is an ocean, and we are drops of time. And those drops, when they fall, they find streams. And those streams creates timelines. So imagine that water is time. Imagine that every river is time. And we are following different timelines in the entire universe, going to the ocean of the mind, of the everything. Imagine that is our only reality. So now someone says, I need to harvest the power of time So I'm going to create a dam. So it creates a dam. It fills up time, storage time. And then these same people goes to the mountain and say, I will dig to find gold because we are alchemists. So we have to find the gold to have power. So they start to dig and use arsenic to crack all the other stones until you have only gold. Where that arsenic goes? To the streams of water. And suddenly, everything starts to be contaminated. The river, the plants around, the animals, us. And then there's people saying, hey, you are contaminating the river. We have to stop this. We have to go back to the source of where it's being broken and try to repair it so we don't contaminate time. We don't contaminate water. It's the same thing. But at the beginning, people didn't understand how the poison of the water or contamination, pollution was related to extracting certain minerals. It required a whole investigation of a long time to relate everything. So imagine that the trees, the mountains, the animals are beings in other dimensions that are being contaminated because we are trying to find gold in time. And we are breaking the structures of the universe, making many other realities to disappear just because we're trying to figure out what time is. So, I don't know the science of it, but I went to CERN and there's a thing that says, we have no idea what time is. It's written there. So we are trying to figure out. Have you been in the museum? That part is beautiful. And right at the door you have Shiva Nataraja, the Hadron Collider, spinning all the forces and breaking every particle. It's weird. But I'm not saying that there's a plan behind. I'm not that kind of person. You know me. I'm just saying that when we evolve and when we are going in consciousness, there are some things that we don't know yet. And that some people or some dimensions are being affected by our decisions. And because of those decisions that we make here, some beings in other dimensions are trying to communicate with us to balance something, balance the heart. And suddenly we go back to spirituality, where everyone is trying to balance the heart, go back to the heart, feel your heart. So boring for me. But it's a very spiritual concept that you have to follow your heart, you have to go to your heart. So what if all of that, of those beings in other dimensions are constantly talking about the human heart just because every pulse that we have is breaking time? And it's forbidden for all the future to exist just because we are out of tune. It's a whole concept that in the ancient times, a lot of people understood. So what they did was to gather in circles to create a stone circle, the most ancient Hadron Collider. And inside, they were with drums and tried to balance the heart. Try to find it, to find the right frequency, repeating every circle of time. So it's an ancient technology that, in my point of view, is all the ancient ones remembering the future and trying to calibrate it in every stone circle. Just thinking about a huge Hadron Collider. So what if the Hadron Collider that will break our origin and break the heart of time is the one that will have this epicenter? So if you have a circle and these mountains are in the middle, what this place represents for the perimeter of that circle? What can we put in here as a stone circle to put a seed for something in the future that today we don't understand because we are or science or spirituality? And spirituality, we are all weird people. Like, we cannot go there and explain this to them. Of course, because we are crazy. But we have been longer here in this planet than them. They have been here for 500, 400 years. We have been doing drums for what? At least 50,000 years in stone circles. So we have practiced this technology of the heart so much, but we are breaking it constantly. And one of the reasons we are breaking it is because we are constantly out of time. We are breaking moments of time. Calendar, clocks, the way we live our life through the time is not the real one. And that's why maybe time was broken in the city of watches. Just to remind us where the watch was broken.
Watch.
That's why Geneva is the city of clocks. So it's a whole echo of history. And there are many things that lead us here. So one of the things that of why we choose today to do it, and not a solstice or an equinox, is because 443 years ago, there was maybe they're listening to us. 443 years ago, there was a pope called Gregorius. You remember him? Yeah? For sure. He created something called by himself, the Gregorian calendar. And the reason why the Gregorian calendar happened that year is because another guy that thought he also had a very huge piton, Augustus Caesar. It's all about that. So the Augustus Caesar, he reorganized the calendar so he can have also a month, August, with the same amount of days as Julius Caesar. July and August. So to rearrange all of that, it meant we have to take something from February. No one will notice. Let's reorganize the whole calendar for my piton. So, of course, a few years after that, no one noticed. But every year, losing 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. The sum of it was 10 days, 400 years ago. So 10 days after, the solstice happened in a wrong time. So the Pope tried to reorganize it, taking away 10 days. So the 14th of October, 443 years ago, he erased 10 days. And suddenly we woke up in the 4th of October. And everyone said, okay. and rearranged the calendar so it was more useful for that time. And this is the calendar we use today. It's just rearrangements of time for the use of people in the past. That it was not aligned specifically with real things. It was just constant rearrangements. So what we have today, we are living in a calendar that has been touched by empires and the church, and that is not related to the ancient traditions of solstice, equinoxes, the cycles of the 13 moons. So it's not related to the truth, to the real one. And that's why also through time, when London established this is the 0 degree, and we started to divide time from London, west or east. So all the hours took us away of our center. And we are not following anymore the sun or the moon. We're following this. It's broken, by the way. I was the only one that had a drag. So,
Yes.
so what happened? In the last 400 years, when we started to live more according to science, industrial revolution, and we got out of the nature and the natural cycles, our hearts didn't know how to beat according to earth. So we started to beat backwards, forward, started to be nervous. We don't know when to go to sleep, when to wake up. We don't know when the solstices are, when the equinoxes are. So we lost the Holy Cross, the actual Holy Cross. Solstice and equinoxes. This was the center of everything. Solstice and equinoxes. And in the center, the earth, with 13 cycles of the moon. The feminine power and the masculine power combined. Time. So that structure, what it shapes precisely a drum. And a drum is not just a tool that you have here. A drum is something that you have in your ears. You know about the two drums? How do you call them?
Eardrums.
Eardrums. The tympanus. Yeah. So they act like drums inside of us, sending signals to our center of operation. And this is not just about hearing. It's about not to get dizzy. It's about to navigate correctly, to know where is the center. So drums are not just an instrument. Drums is the navigation system of consciousness. It's how you balance your brain. Everything that you're hearing and the liquid that you have inside is the water of the boat of your pineal gland. So you know how not to fall down when you do this. So imagine that this is a boat and this is your calibration system. So hearing is actually the balance of everything. Hearing is the balance of consciousness. So we have these drums constantly playing every time we hear something. But today there is too much noise. Too many things we hear. Too many truths that are not truth. So much noise in the society. So many antennas. 5G, 4G. All of that creates constant vibration. Statics. That makes the drum be out of tune. So it's not just about this heart. It's about this one. to find silence and balance. So when we try to hear ourselves with the inner sound, we cannot find the center. So we have two places that we have to balance. Our heart, which is time, and our brain, which is the calibration. And both of them works with beats. Tum, 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 tum. So when we are outside of time, that we don't know when we are, why are we doing the things, where do we move through, this is out of rhythm. And the constant calibration system is something that we call philosophy. Philosophy. So, philé, the love, the feeling, and sophé, the knowledge, the wisdom. So, philosophy is the constant questioning. Am I in the right position? Am I in the right tune? So, philosophy is not having answer. Philosophy is a constant calibration of the boat. Yeah? That's the whole thing. So, because for more than 500 years, we stopped calibrating ourselves. We stopped hearing ourselves. We stopped the drums. And there was one place mainly that stopped all the drums. Europe. Today, when we think about drums, we go to the Native Americans, South America, maybe Asia, Africa. But where were the drums beating all the time? Europe. Europe killed all the people that play drums. And now it's like, oh, Europe is about mind. And when we have to connect with the heart, we go outside. And Europe is the heart of Europe. Europe is the heart of the planet. And there's no drums beating. There's only mind beating. So it's not about going to Africa or to America. It's about bringing back the drums to where it was. All the valley of the Rhone to Sion, yeah, Zermatt, all this region, it was all the Lake of Geneva, all of this territory. It was from the Neolithic stone circles where people came with drums to play and dance around. This was the most ancient place to actually connect. The north of Europe was with ice, was covered in ice. So only the Alps, the south of France, the south of Italy, the Balkans, Switzerland, was all the region where the drums were playing. So this is the heart, where the first drums were like beating in Europe. So all of that was lost in the past hundreds and hundreds of years. So today, which is 443 days since that time changed, we are beginning the year 444 since that changed, which means that 2026 will be the beginning of the reparation of time, which is not that year. It's like for 100 years. It's a whole year to start to rethink about how to rebalance our heart to the heart of earth, to the heart of the skies, and to use the science with that heart. Because it's not against that. It's about how you use it, how you balance everything. So if these places, if these mountains go back to beat constantly as the center of the heart of Europe, maybe whatever experiment they do here eventually will be centered. And it's not just to expand around. So my intention of coming here is to put the first seed for that in the center of the future Hadron Collider. To calibrate our hearts. And that doesn't mean that we all have to know how to play a drum. Because for sure, we're all out of tune here. So the intention here is to seed the intention. Not to do a work that has to be perfect, but to begin the process of acknowledgement of why this place is so important, why this region is so important. So my idea here was to use this amplifier as a ceremonial space, as it's already done, for us to just flow, to try to find our rhythm. I don't like to say what to do. I like to see what happens when every heart tries to tune. So I would say that some people will have to hear, some people will have to follow, some people will make music, and some will just follow the others that do music. Every one of you know exactly what to do. The only thing that we have to have for certain is not knowing what to do. Not knowing what to do is what calibrates the heart. Because if we now ask me, so how do we start? Where do we go? What do we do? I will say, I don't know. I don't know, do whatever you have to do. This is not about me. I just make a call for everyone to pay attention. But the main thing is to learn to listen. And first of all, to listen the silence. To listen the silence, to listen to the wind, to listen to the territory. This is very important also before doing anything, because we have to ask permission to every stone, to the grass, to the plants, to the territory. So with silence, we open ourselves to ask permission. And then we start to tune slowly. So the idea of being here is that we can maybe surround this place and bring the music out and inside. And one of the main things about consciousness when we don't know how to navigate is that everything that we hear at first sometimes is dissonant. And we say, oh, this person is playing terribly. I don't like that music. You know, we start to have some trouble with that. Yeah. So when we don't know what is sounding, the first thing we have to do is to listen. It's not about we have to cover this because it's horrible. Yeah. It's like in history we try to do that all the time when we don't believe in others or when we don't agree with others, and we try to make our voices higher. Yeah? So I don't let the other person speak, for example. So that is because I'm hearing only my sound. But when you start to make silence to hear, so you try to understand what is happening in the environment, and then you find the right tune. So sometimes the dissonance is the beginning of the process. Not just to be perfect on the top of the other. So what I would recommend when we do this sewing of the beat is to have all this in mind, but not to think on what to do. Just, we will ask permission to the land, each one in your own way. Some people need the trees, some people need to be alone, some people need to be together. So respect that, because we are all beating in a different way. So feel that. Try not to follow what others are doing until you feel that you have to. And in that process, all you have to pay attention to is how your heart is feeling and how your mind is feeling. When the mind tries to make sense of everything, it will try to look for data. I should do this, I should do that, I should go there. Yeah? So try to empty all of your mind, not by releasing the thoughts, but to bring in every thought in front of you. Yeah? It's not about, oh, I shouldn't think about this now. No, it's not about that. It's why I'm thinking about if I let the car open. I created a problem here. Trigger in the mind. So maybe that thought can come. So I just bring it in front. Don't do this. Bring it in front. Observe it. Breathe it. Yeah? Don't erase anything. Just focus on anything that comes to you. When you have that, breathe, and all you just concentrate in is in your heartbeat. Try to feel it in your heart, in your pulse. Try to sense where it is. And through that, we start to find the pulse with the breathing, with the humming, someone with a drum, someone with any other instrument. Try to find it, and with your voices. But remember, always first is the discovery. So it's not about trying to do the music. It's not about music. It's about calibration. It's not about singing. It's about tuning. So at first, it doesn't have to make any sense. It's about finding the tune. Yeah? So, so that's why after you find your spot, I would recommend to just concentrate in the beating of your heart, in all the thinking, emptying your mind, allowing just yourself, closing your eyes and go anywhere and observe this beautiful sightseeing of the future. Which is perfect for meditation. Yeah? So there's no time to finish this. And of course I have to go to other places too for other things. That's why I came late, because I was in the first place asking permission. If someone feels, stay here the whole day. I will be doing stuff in other places too. So if there is people feeling that they have to be here, it's great, because we're going to be connecting. Yeah? And if some of you feel this is the moment for me to go to other points, so you go, you do it. This is a task we do between everyone, and each one of you has to sense what to do. Don't expect for me to tell you where to go or what to do. So I just call your attention to this place. Now we have to follow the heartbeat. Follow your heart. There you go. And then you summarize the whole thing into that. Follow your heart. And here we are again. So that's the summary of the whole thing. What time is it? Because this is broken. 12:15, perfect. Okay. So now that we have our mind in 12, I think that it would be nice if we all are aligned for one. Whatever one is. But because we are talking about unity and calibration of the one, so let's talk about the one that is 13. 13 moons in the one. So, everyone on the same page? Finally? Yeah? So, is there anything or any information that you want to add about acknowledgement of this place or something? All good? Perfect. So, with this, I just want to put this seed of information here because then I don't want to interrupt. This thing that we are going to do today is the seed for the work that we're going to do for the next 3 years. So in 3 years, we are going to meet again in between Switzerland and France. And in April 13th, the asteroid Apophis will cross here. And during the night, we are going to be able to see it if there's no fog. So this asteroid is the one that a few years ago was checked as one of the possible asteroids that could destroy us. And this is the time that it's going to cross under satellites. That's how close it's going to be. Imagine, it's not like through the moon, no, it's under some satellites. And if it hits the Earth, well,
We're in a good place. We're going to be in a good place.
some will survive. Don't worry. Hope the best one.
Let's be in the caves then.
Clearly we are not because we're going to be in the mountains.
Are there any caves around here?
So, but that asteroid is called Apophis because it's the snake of the poison in Egyptian tradition, the destroyer of wars. So it's called like that because it could destroy ours. If it doesn't do it now, it might do it in 2060 before the Hadron Collider works. So, but anyway, we're gonna do our best. No, 2029, April 13th. Yeah. I don't know. All along Switzerland, some point. So, but it's gonna start like we're gonna start seeing it from I don't know Iran or Pakistan, India, I don't know, from there, and it will end in Canada, North Canada. So that's all the line that we can see. So it's gonna cross here, which is very symbolic. So during this whole process, starting today until we come back here, we're gonna be aligning ourselves in all the chemical elements, like we did in the path of the Yosoi. Remember? We've been 370 days in a row. Okay, this time will be 3 years. I want to kill myself. I'm not gonna be so long in Egypt. But we are gonna keep a track of every day aligning ourselves with the alchemy to turn our poison into medicine, to grab the poison of the snake in the skies to create medicine for the next 3 years, which is 2030 to 2033, the years of manifestation of medicine. So that's also the seed that I'm putting here. That we will start this at the end of the year, and we are gonna keep every day aligning ourselves for 1 minute at least to keep the track of alchemy, to bring a drop of time, of the wrong time, and try to create medicine in the ocean of life. Yeah? So that's my intention of what we're doing here. And we're going to do many things. Getting alignments in every full and new moon to honor the right time. We're going to do alignments and activations every solstice and equinox for the next 3 years in different places of the planet, open, like this. We're going to do the most important calibration during the eclipse of Egypt, August 2027, which is the longest eclipse in the century. So for the 3 years, we're going to do a whole alchemical journey, yeah, that is going to be related to time. So the intention is calibrate the heart, calibrate the eardrums all the time. Yeah. So this is just a seed. Yeah. So if by the end of the day you say, "Oh, I didn't feel anything," well, just work for 3 years. That's what it's gonna be. Okay. So yeah, I think I have nothing else to say. I'm gonna speak a lot in the next 3 years. So, we are ready. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No. Bueno, thank you for anchoring this, for trying to find the rhythm, and for following yourself. Yeah. Thank you very much. Y bueno, está sembrado. It's been, how do you say it?
Seated.
Seated. It's been seated. Yeah, the intention. So I would suggest, of course, you are already enjoying the place. I would suggest to keep here as much as you can. Of course, it's going to be colder after, but as much as you can to hold this and to walk around in different areas to feel the place, to anchor in different places. I'm gonna go to other different places in 5 minutes. So yeah. So just to have in mind the image of what we did. So of course there's a masculine aspect and a feminine aspect. So inside, outside, to create the right rhythm, the calibration, outside, inside. That's why it's not about all of us to be in the center, it's about to be outside and in the center. So we can calibrate those two forces. And so when you follow all the rhythms and suddenly creates a harmonic, did you notice that at some points there were all harmonic and then disarm again? So that disarming is the process of connecting data. And then when all the data is aligned, so harmony happens by itself. It's not required for someone to say what to do. It just happens. So those were the moments when suddenly everything aligned and then disarm again. It's not that we're losing the rhythm, it's that we are shaping something. We're forming something. So it's important to recognize that and not to think that always has to be perfect. It's the process of calibration. So yeah, so in that process of calibration, all the packages of information from all of us, it sounded, I don't know if you noticed, but it sounded like different clocks. Yeah? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Like when you were all in different rhythms, it was like being in a place with many clocks, wall clocks and cuckoo clocks, all around. So that is the balance in the calibration of time. So it's important to pay attention to that because for my own self is where I can grasp data and information. So it's very useful when not everyone is exactly in the same. So it's interesting, and that's what allows to put everything in an idea. So just to have in mind this, everything that exists is mind. So everything that we perceive is a perception of the mind. So to play with your mind and do games with your mind is how you organize information. Not by thinking properly in something, but by using the subconscious to organize it. And the subconscious doesn't think. The subconscious just have so many things inside that you need to organize it, move, sing, whatever. and to organize this data. And that's what some of us were doing. That's what I was doing to basically allow myself to dive in the subconscious. And to go there, you have to get lost. So all the noises and all the things are helping the expansion of that data. And once you expand towards all that information, suddenly the harmony starts to appear and pulls all the data together. And boom, it creates a package. And that package of information is like summarized in a geometry. And then that geometry is the one you put in the territory. So it's organized. All the information that is here, spread, it's organized. And to organize that, you need all the different vibrations and photons in the right position. So that's why to sew all the information, we needed a rainbow bridge. Yeah. So that's why the circle. I don't know if you saw the rainbow bridge.
It opened the sky, right?
Yeah. Did you see the rainbow down? No.
The eyes closed.
You were all with your eyes closed. You were inside. Yeah. Well, so that moment down there was when the sewing, when we sew it, as you were holding here, and for that you need all the colors. So I don't know if the ones that were closer to me maybe saw the reflection of the rainbow down. So it was like a circle anchoring. So yeah, and so there are many different places in all this territory that are related to this spot to hold the energy. The lake, that lake. That lake there, Geneva, then Mont Blanc, yeah, the mountain, Mont Blanc, Lyon, not the city, closer, the river. So all of that territory is the power territory that anchors all this center. So if you are traveling or moving around, just try to go to close to one of those spots to then anchor and connect. So it's not only here, from here we spread it. Yeah? So that would be the next task for today or tomorrow. Yeah? So this balancing starts to align us for all the tasks for the next years. And that's why it's important to anchor it in the most ancestral way of Europe. So we go to the origin of this frequency here. Yeah? So, so don't think about Switzerland, think about Helvetia. And even farther in time. And yeah. So I have to keep going. I have to take this command. So thank you for coming here. Thank you for anchoring here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I hope you spread this to all the other regions of this circle. Yeah. And you hadn't collided. Try to not collide more. At least do it properly.
Yeah.
Remember, I always say we lost. In that process, we lost and we lose an ion, which is an atom that lost a particle. And that's what created connectivity. So what for today, for us, is the reason of existence, for the divine, is the reason of the end. So we begin when Brahma, the divine egg, ended. So to calibrate all the divinity, we need to repair that ion. And how do we do it? We have no clue. Because it's hidden in the subconscious. That's why, since I started this journey, this path, it was Merlin that explained me this. That's why I have it here. Not Merlin, but a Merlin. Someone. And that Merlin said to me that what is lost in the universe, to find what is lost in the universe, you have to get lost. If you follow the sense of the universe, you cannot find what was lost. The only way to find what was lost in that atom is following nonsense. Nonsense is moving backwards in time, going to all the ancient things, and to bring sense to the future by moving backwards in nonsense. That's why sometimes it's so important to understand that when we feel we are getting crazy, actually we are expanding into the subconscious. But when our ego tries to control the subconscious, that's when we actually become crazy. Because we try to make sense constantly of the expansion of the universe. So, not to get lost, you have to allow yourself to go and dive into the subconscious. That's kind of our part of this mission. When others has to be very concentrated and focused. This is a teamwork. Some others do one work, we do another work. If you're here because of following me, so you are in nonsense. You're going to play a very weird game of the mind. So, I told you. So, this game is the one this game of the illusions in the mind is where photons and shadows are playing in the perception. Okay, so when we allow ourselves to play with that instead of being controlled by that, so we are creators. So this is kind of the why we're starting this game, while others try to find an atom. Yeah. So Caesar. Very accurate. Caesar is written here. So, thank you everybody for being crazy.
Thank you.
Thank you.